Of the Zoning Board of Appeals. The first thing on our agenda is to approve the minutes from last meeting. Did everybody get them?
Yes.
Yes. I move to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Good.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And the first petition on our agenda is petition 2307 by Michael Nguyen for a use special permit at address 434 Humphrey Street to open a nail salon. Hi.
Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi.
How are you?
Welcome.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
If you could bring that microphone a little closer, just so that for the
Okay. Thank
people
you.
watching at home.
I gotta recuse myself here because I'm gotta be super careful and ditch around like my best friends.
Okay.
You know, so I don't want anybody and everybody knows, you know,
Okay.
grew up, so I don't wanna take any chances.
All right, so Andy is going to recuse himself from this. So that gives us just 4 voting members. Just to let you know what that means, you need 4 yeses. If you have 5 voting members, you also need 4 yeses. So it just means that there can be no dissent on the
Sure.
board. But you can make your presentation. If you feel like you want to wait until we have another board member at another meeting next month, you can always choose to do that at the end.
No, I can do it today.
Okay.
So, my name is Michael. I'm from Winthrop. I am the owner of Star Nails in Winthrop. I had the business since I left college 25 years ago. I started the business pretty successful. I had 2 in Winthrop. During COVID, I had to close one to keep up with the staff. Now that I'm a little bit better, I'd like to franchise out to Swampscott to open up another business here on Humphrey Street. I found a location which is great for us. I'm looking to employ maybe like 10, 12 people working. And we're doing just, you know, it's a nail salon service. We do eyebrows, waxing, nails, fingernail for all ladies and gentlemen, children's, anyone that like to get services. And it's pretty simple. And I'm licensed by the state. I had experience for 25 years, you know, no complaints.
So the reason you're here before the board is there was a relatively recent bylaw change that any service industry that's on the first floor of a commercial building, the use has to be approved, and it's in an effort to prevent too many of the same uses being on the first floor and not enough sort of retail restaurant type uses. Does anybody on the board have any questions? So there are 2 other nail salons on Humphrey Street. But there was a spa in this location previously that's gone out of business. This other spa that was on the 2nd floor is no longer there as well. So I mean, we definitely had 2 more spas previously. Is there anybody here to speak on this petition?
I know we received a letter.
I know we received some emails from somebody who is also trying to rent this space. So have you come to an agreement with the landlord?
I didn't sign the lease because I know I had to go through this appeal right now before I signed the lease, but the landlord liked the idea, you know, to have something, you know, like a beauty salon or something there. But, you know, what we offer is, you know, is immaculate. I've been in the business for so long. We know exactly what we're doing, you know, and the landlord, we talked about it, you know, and I wanted to bring in some new type of designs and, you know, is very good. You have to see it to believe it. You know, I own the business in Winthrop, and we are the biggest salon in Winthrop Center. My parents, you know, been in the business for years, and you know, I took after the business. Then I told the landlord he liked the idea, you know. So I just wanted to see what you guys have to say before I can go on and move on to my next stage, sign the lease. I was hoping, you know, to do something here in Swampscott. I really like the town, really do. It was very nice here.
Any decision here doesn't, just because there was some conflict with, there seemed to be somebody else that was They just chose not to attend, but had spoken out about also wanting the same space. Anything we decide here obviously has nothing to do with what agreement you make with your landlord. This is just strictly if we think that use is,
Yeah, I totally
viable
respect that,
use.
yes.
Yeah.
I really do. I was just hoping to do something here in Swampscott, you know, something nice. I think the resident here will love us.
so does anybody else on the board have any
I don't have any further questions.
further questions, any concerns? I don't either. Does anybody want to make a motion?
If you, I'll write it up if you say
Yeah, here. So you'll move to approve this petition
it. Okay,
for this address for use special permit.
okay, so we grant the permission for,
I move
so I move to grant,
to approve petition 23-7
yeah, I move to approve position 23-7 to
for a use.
use of special
permit.
permit, section 2.2.00 at, where is it gone, the address? 434 Humphrey Street,
For the use of a
for
nail
the
salon.
use of a nail salon.
All right, I second that
So-
motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll write it up.
Awesome. All right, so your motion is approved,
Thank you so
and
much.
we will write that up, and it'll be submitted to the town hall in a few days.
Thank you so
Week
much.
Maybe.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. All right.
So you want me to do the next one?
So, yeah, you need to do the next, I didn't close the public hearing. I forgot to do that.
To what, to?
I forget to
Oh,
close.
that's okay. They'll be in the decision, right?
All right, so this next one, Mark is going to chair because I am in a butter.
Okay, so our item 3 on our agenda is petition 2308 by Ralph PERELIS for 5 TUPELO Road, requesting a finding on a non-conforming lot and/or structure for the construction of an addition. Now being after 7 p.m., could I have you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Ralph PERELIS, longtime Swampscott resident, and I'm here tonight with Ernie DeMaio, who's the architect for the project.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about the project and your relief
Sure.
you're requesting?
Sure. I'm here tonight because I'm looking to renovate my house, and the house is located on a pre-existing non-conforming lot. The non-conformance is because of two things: lot area and frontage. The code-required frontage is 125 feet in current code, and the lot has about a little under 85 feet. The lot area per code is 30,000 square feet, and the lot actually has a little, right around 20,000 square feet. However, we're planning a renovation which does not exceed any other dimensional requirements. So for instance, setbacks, height, lot coverage, open space are all in compliance. So in other words, what we're proposing to do is not putting the property into further non-compliance.
Right, so you're not creating any new nonconformity
Correct.
by the proposed work?
That is
And
correct.
is there anyone that wished to be heard about this petition? Hearing none. Any questions from the board? Hearing none. So it appears that it's a pretty straightforward petition, that under the Bellotta case, it's a finding that you need for this board to make, that, should look for the, my language specifically. So, right, so we need to find that the work is not increasing the non-conforming nature of any non-conformity. It's not changing anything with the lot area nonconformity or the frontage nonconformity. Those are remaining the same. And that's basically all we need to do for this relief, is to make that finding. So I'll make a motion to approve the petition and make the finding.
I'll write this one. I'll
Sorry?
write this one if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Want me to make a motion, though?
Sure.
So I'll make a motion. Mr. Rose has offered to write the decision. It's to make a finding that the proposed work is not increasing any existing nonconformity, and that all of the changes are conforming changes, and the property is protected by 48 Section 6 of the general laws. Do I have a second on that?
Do I second my own first?
Good second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so you have your relief to build in accordance with the plans. Andy will write a decision, will file it with the town clerk. After it's filed, there's a 30-day appeal period, and then you can pick up a certified copy of that to record.
Excellent. Thank you
Okay,
very
good luck
much.
with your project.
Thank you. Great, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thanks. All right. Okay. I am too. All right, so now moving on to petition 2306. Was this going to be continued, or is this
This is Essex Street.
Essex Street? Yep.
Yes, I have a signed continuous form on record from Attorney Drucas.
Okay, so do we need to vote on that, or is that all set?
Vote on it to make it official,
Okay.
I guess.
So I'm going to move to continue petition 2306 till our next meeting, which we're
Why don't
not
we
sure.
talk about that?
It's going to be August or September.
So,
I'll second.
Why don't we, how should we do that for the continuance? I'm just trying to think with,
Well, do we want to discuss that now?
yeah, why don't we
Quickly.
discuss it now?
Okay,
I
so,
think we need to have an August meeting.
We may need to have an August meeting for that, and there's another person who is going through the planning process, and if we don't have an August meeting, it puts their project off a month as well, because of the, having to do both meetings now. So I am available for August,
Yep.
the hypothetical date.
The hypothetical-
22nd.
22nd.
I'm available. You around?
You're not, right?
I'm around for that.
So the 22nd.
Can it be virtual?
Yeah, you can join
Yeah.
virtually, yeah.
Yeah, then I can do it, yeah.
22nd?
Yeah. 22nd.
Yep, okay, so that's the four of us, and then we just need one of either,
Dan or Brad or Tony,
yeah.
so,
Okay, so it looks like we'll continue it till August,
okay, August 22nd?
August 22nd.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so. Next, we have petition 2305, which is 0 Lodge Road, continued from June. And this is for a dimensional special permit, site plan special permit, dimensional variance for the construction of a single-family home on a vacant lot. And I saw Ken. Is this continuing?
I would respectfully ask that we continue this for another month. The owners of the property are now engaging with appellate counsel or counsel with regard to the prior attorney who's representing them, or maybe 40B counsel. But at this point, they've asked me, while they're speaking with all of these individuals, that we need another month. So I respectfully ask that we continue this for another month.
Can't hear you.
I'd be glad to speak louder. Would you like a mic, or would that amplify my voice? I'm just asking that the matter be continued while the owners of the property seek advice of counsel with regard to what they wish to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to move to continue petition 2305 till do they need till September, or?
At this point, I will let you know as soon as I know, and if it, in fact, you can let any of the neighbors know if we're not prepared on August 22nd. But they asked me for an additional month while this is reviewed by appellate counsel.
Okay, so you want to continue until the August meeting?
Yes, please.
So I would,
I would suggest, do you know who the neighbors are, like that?
I think they're,
yeah,
Well, because I would suggest if you might continue it again, if maybe they could give you contact info or someone that,
whenever, either that or I.
just not to leave the onus on everybody to be calling Marissa if she doesn't know.
Sure.
So as soon as you know, maybe you could CC someone designated as the group leader for the neighbors.
Whatever would be easiest for everyone, I would be more than glad to help expedite that.
Okay?
all right, sounds good. So yes, so I am moving to continue petition 2305 to our August 22nd meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
And that brings us very speedily to 10 minutes early to our petition 2225.
So we gotta wait.
So we have
though,
to wait, yeah.
To start that, so, any administrative stuff we need to take care of?
I guess the August meeting covered it. Was
That joint meeting?
the joint meeting, so it looks like August 1st might be the date. That was the only date that I could get a quorum from the planning board. Heather unfortunately won't be available, but might be able to
I'll be
phone in.
driving, so I might be able to get it
Yeah.
on Zoom, but.
But I do have a quorum with both boards.
Out on that.
You're out then too?
Well, no, I'm out because I don't wanna be sitting here and trying to influence, you know, whatever you guys decide at the planning board, 'cause it's all about the,
Yeah,
you know, that district, so.
right, okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I don't wanna be in those.
Right, no,
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
you're conflicted, but,
Yeah.
get it.
So, I'll send out an email tomorrow, August 1st, virtually. Shouldn't take any longer than a half hour, 40 minutes. The purpose of having both boards together is just to jointly vote to adopt the updated procedures. You know, I went through, apart from the actual bylaw, we have a procedural guidebook that I went through and I updated based on the changes that were voted in May. So I'll distribute those materials, and then they're a pretty easy read. Bring them to the beach. And then it should
And
be,
if we don't have a quorum of ZBA members, we can just vote it at our next meeting.
you can vote it in on your next meeting, yeah. Yeah. So,
Do we know what time?
7 o'clock,
Thank you.
7 o'clock, yep, virtually. And so I'll send out a calendar invite with the link and everything.
Oh, yeah, that was what the email was. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Madam Chair, if I could just ask you, are they gonna be posted?
7 o'clock on a virtual?
Guys, so, which they're referring to?
Once they're voted in, yep.
Okay, are they?
We have to go, right?
Posted to look at?
The current procedures are posted on the town website, yeah, they have been for ever.
What is he
Yes,
doing?
yeah, I think they're under the planning board's page, not the zoning board's. So,
Increase.
I mean, it was just a pretty quick update, just going through and changing planning board to being the sole permit granting authority, so.
Yeah. Will we get will we get new printed bylaws for?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through and print the actual sections that need updating, rather than
Okay.
like printing out, and then maybe the cover page, that way, paper friendly.
Yes, I agree, although mine is bound like this, so it's
Oh,
not like
no, okay, all right. Maybe I will get you,
updatable.
I'd vote for a new book.
a brand
For a
new
whole new
book.
book. Because I think there's changes that I don't have in this book as well, that I just have to kind of
What-
reference
I
online.
was
just looking to
even
see.
before.
If the new bylaw with the new overlay district, is that in, online in our,
Which, the Hadley overlay or the Glover overlay, or?
are all of them online in the new, in the,
I have to check with Jared. I don't know if
I don't think so, 'cause I have
the
to
latest
go
version from May is online.
to see the.
Because I never know if we have to get official approval from the AG's office before they can go up online.
well, they have to be approved by the AGs.
Yeah,
and once
and we
they're
haven't had
approved-
that yet.
Oh, okay.
They haven't
So when
had
that's
everybody-
done, then
Yeah.
it'll be updated, and then we can get updated
Yeah.
books.
Yeah,
All right, that makes sense.
they had 90 days from, I think we submitted them June 1st, so they have until September 1st, give or take.
Okay.
Unless they request an extension, which I hope they don't. But we would love to know.
But they go into effect before that, or?
Yeah, so when they do get, so I guess anybody that seeks relief under any of the new bylaws is doing so at risk. So like, for all intents and purposes, the site plan review process as it stands right now, though we don't foresee any objections from the Attorney General's office, petitioners are proceeding at risk. But they also can't operate under the former bylaw.
Yeah, so there's no other way.
Yeah.
Shop next Wednesday.
I think it's effective
yeah.
the date of the first advertisement.
Nice.
It's retroactive to that date.
I sold it to him.
The first advertisement, even before town meeting,
$5 million.
so that when the warrant came out,
Town council told me town meeting, the day it was voted in.
My reading is always
Yeah, that would have
publication.
Interesting.
Somebody
because obviously
a lot of inflation.
we weren't proceeding that way before it was voted in.
Right, right,
So then all those people that would be in between that time would not have had.
That's true.
right.
Once it's approved, it
I got my middle one.
But I'm guessing, what I'm saying is we weren't doing it that way in between.
I think pretty soon.
No, I understand.
Caleb.
Yeah, so then those people would technically not have an approved
Remotely
planning board
control the
site plan
drops.
if they happen to fall in those weeks.
And my son's going to Northeastern in the fall. So,
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
like impossible to get into these things.
yeah, he was happy. He's excited. He's had orientation. And they just won he was the goalie in the prep lacrosse team. They just won the state championship, so we had a great spring
wow.
with that.
Wow. Is he gonna play in college?
He'll play club. He didn't get to start till he was a senior at the prep. He had a
Right.
great season.
Right.
But
Well, perhaps like all-star.
it is. Hello.
Just got on my car.
I mean, you know, the draw from all
I'm
the-
still on holiday.
Coaches.
My mind was, I was fine, I don't care. It was tough. No, but I was like, sure. Keep going.
I bet. What a way to
And then
go
he
out.
did it, just, oh, that's what I was
It was so
supposed to
tense during the playoffs at my house, like nobody was saying anything.
Oh, it was funny.
I'm
still not doing it.
Going into the fourth quarter.
No, still learning. I also need to
Oh,
learn.
my God.
There was
Just
a lot
was
of,
organized today.
a lot of stress.
You're driving.
I thought I had lots of time and then went for a swim and. You kidding me? I'm still on holiday.
Yeah,
Right, hello.
we've got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes?
I was wondering whether you would introduce for the record your new member that we.
Oh, yes, you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Susan Sinrich. I'm a new member.
Yay. Which is great because we have a quorum.
You do, right?
Right, you were key today. Your first meeting, right, or,
Well, I've been to a few, but I was sitting over there.
Yeah, we're putting you right to work.
Yeah, good.
Andy, where
So,
is
yeah,
it?
so when it's posted at 7:30 in case,
Where is it?
It's called catechets,
Really?
which is
Well, because
2.5 hours.
if
on
you
the
had a
bus.
question about it,
So we fly in
And
the
you
bus.
weren't.
and then you showed up
Drive,
on time, and we were already done, or you were 10 minutes in, and you didn't get your chance to speak.
And that's just, but it's just,
And usually it's on purpose to like
gets
prevent
flooded during
people from having to sit
summer
through like
months.
3 lengthy
and it's
things
just
before.
Ordinarily
over,
know that they
over
were,
20 years,
Zero Lodge Road was gonna.
except for COVID.
Steve, how are you?
Oh, yeah, good.
I didn't notice there was a crowd of people behind you
No,
before.
Wasn't with them.
Essex we knew was gonna be
Yeah, I'm sure.
continued. Yeah, yeah, so it's nice if it's done ahead of time,
Yeah.
'cause then you can notify
Nice.
all the abutters.
I don't know if I'll ever get there, but
Because they all showed
a
up.
little bit
Yeah.
more than I could last year, so we'll see.
Great. Is it mountainous or is it coastal?
Oh, it's on the ocean.
It's on the
It's
ocean.
just a cove,
How's your summer going?
a church at the top, looks at,
Good.
all the
Did you
white
just say your son's
kind
going
of
to?
houses wrapped
He
around
is.
the
Both of
cove.
them I went to.
And we have.
Oh, yeah,
friends
good experiences.
One?
We go out
One
on the-
good one?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
boat, like Ernest
Yeah.
Hemingway's boat, you know.
It's already, he's not even started yet, he's already changed his major like 3 times.
Yeah,
So is he going this fall?
He's gonna go in the fall, yeah.
What's he
Just had
doing?
orientation.
And just
What's he doing?
fall
Does
off
he know
the
yet?
side of the boat.
Computer
No
science,
shocks.
he says.
Okay.
I can't get him to
So they
create like
say.
a calendar in Google, like
Nice.
a Google Calendar, so
I have,
It's
yeah.
gonna be interesting.
Sorry, 1 second, yeah.
I have my doubts that
Yes.
he'll finish.
Yeah.
Computer
Um,
science major.
I spend time mostly in the south, in Seville and
Yeah.
Cadiz.
Daughter spent a year in Sevilla.
Really?
Well, my second son's only just finished his first year, so
I
I'll
stayed
give him
in
that.
this
Now he's saying
hotel
it's a mess
called
up
the
to
Trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a small hotel.
Thank you, God.
Most
My
luxurious
second
hotel
first
I've
one.
ever stayed in.
Service
Service was unbelievable. It was like maybe
to an amazing job.
10
Oh, that's great.
You know, and it was like
His co-op.
Moroccan style, around a courtyard, you know.
Yeah, I'm
you went
excited for him.
inside
Yeah, she,
The gate. It's, oh,
and
I
loved every minute.
I love
If
skiing.
he's,
What was great is
he's
my
super studious,
younger daughter, both my
Yeah.
girls,
then and
My
not
son's
too
fluent.
fun-loving, then it's,
I'd say he's a very good student,
Yeah.
and he thinks he's
Okay.
a great student.
And so she came back.
yeah.
And she speaks
Yeah.
with a,
We'll see how it plays
Yeah.
out.
Oh, it's
Andalusian,
But he was at
which is, they really eat their words, so
Yeah.
instead of
He was in
SI,
Paris when COVID hit,
Yeah.
so we had to,
and it's like awesome.
Operation Dunkirk, we had to get him back
Nice.
within 2
Yeah.
days, and it was,
Boston accent.
that was good, because obviously like everyone's gonna be back in 2 days, and we were like, he's in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been stuck there
Yeah,
for months.
yeah, he would have been stuck.
Yeah, I loved it down there.
All right, I think we're good.
Yep,
All
okay.
right.
I did, I went to Cadiz. Yeah, Cadiz and Sevilla for just a week.
All right, so it being after 7:30, we can continue with petition 2225, which is 53 Puritan Road, which is continued from February. I know we received a letter from the historical board, which went over a previous plan that had been submitted by a previous owner, and they determined that the height of that garage was 17 feet, which is originally, and from our understanding from that letter was that the owner has agreed to return the height to that 17 feet. Is that correct?
Oh, we talked about it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
So is there anything else?
If I may.
Yes.
Everything's gotta be there.
Chairperson, members of the
Yes.
board, James Cipolletta on behalf of Mr. Sneerson. He has answered in the affirmative, yes, he would.
To return it to the 17 feet?
Yes.
Okay, and so this is looking for a dimensional variance. This petition is for a dimensional variance for the height of a pre-existing non-conforming accessory structure, in which case you would no longer need that variance because you are going back to the original height of the structure.
Yes, that's my understanding. I did read Attorney Stein's opinion to the board, and I concur. And I think we're looking at two scenarios, and I think one of them has just been taken off the table, that if the building had been destroyed or somehow compromised so that it became uninhabitable and it was actually condemned by the building inspector, it could be rebuilt to its previous specs. So long as they didn't go higher or go outside the footprint, that's all they needed to do, and they had the right to do it. If the owner were to increase or extend a pre-existing non-conforming structure, then we would need a Section 6 finding. But since if I understand the chair correctly, then if Mr. Sneerson is willing to return it to 17 feet, I don't think we need anything from the board. We wouldn't need a finding under Section 6 because we're not extending a pre-existing non-conforming structure. We're rebuilding it to its prior height and other dimensions. That's the way I read KP's opinion, and I think it mirrors what I wrote in my memo that accompanied the application. So I just wanted to understand the board's thinking before we agreed to too much, but he did agree that 17 feet would be acceptable.
And can you also confirm that the footprint of the building has not changed and the height of the wall has not changed?
That's correct, yes.
So it's just the slope of the roof?
Yes, yes, because, and I'm not sure of what the ratio of the pitch is, but it's a different pitch, which then caused increased height. It didn't create any more living space, habitable space or anything, but it did change the height.
Okay, so the existing wall is still 12.5 feet?
That's correct. I think there's no disagreement about that.
There's no disagreement about that. anybody on the board have any questions?
I just, so is it now attaching to the house?
So just confused.
Those plans are old.
Oh, yeah.
That was just for the
Sorry.
sake of showing the measurement. I'm sorry. Those were the
yes.
plans that just showed those plans are from 2012, and those were the plans that, John Lehman from the Vice Chair of the Historical Commission used to
Okay,
get that
brilliant. 'Cause
measurement.
I was like, I
17
haven't
feet.
seen these before.
I
Okay.
just wanted to show those.
Okay.
So the one question about the original plans that were submitted for this project showed actually reducing the footprint of that garage, setting it,
Which original plan?
the plans,
Did I put in?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the garage was was pushed back a little bit, and that increased the distance between the garage and
And the main house?
the main house. Was
Correct.
that work done?
Yes, yeah, that's all done.
So the distance between the garage and the main house has increased?
It has.
Okay.
I mean, that was done, God almighty, 2018 and 19.
Okay,
That was the first permit we pulled, and there wasn't any problems then.
okay. Just confirming that, because I know that it's squared off, and in these plans that we have from before, it wasn't squared off, it had a little nook in it.
Yeah, I wish
Right.
But you
seen
went,
those.
rather than squaring it off and filling it in, you went back. Yep, okay, just wanted to confirm that. All right, is there anyone else here that wants to speak? Mr. Schutzer?
Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Attorney Kenneth Schutzer. I'm here on behalf of the abutter Lawrence Patel. Patel is not here this evening.
Mr. Schutzer, could you walk to the microphone?
Oh, my pleasure. For the record, my name is Attorney Ken Schutzer. I appear on behalf of the direct abutter, Lawrence Bethel. Mr. Bethel is not here this evening. Mr. Bethel is ill. He's receiving dialysis, and he had broken his neck, so he's at home. I did speak with him today. I informed him that we had been before the Historical Commission earlier this week. I don't see a set of plans that have been provided that reflect the relief that's being sought, unless, of course, I misunderstood, and what is happening is that the applicant is withdrawing the application because they're of the position that the building inspector would be predisposed to grant a building permit. Now, you may all recall that the building permit was canceled, was revoked, and a non-timely appeal was taken, and therefore the only thing that was currently before the board was either the dimensional special permit and the variance. Similarly, at the earlier meetings, I had indicated, and I think the letter from KP Law so suggests that there is additional relief that should be sought. One is for the floodplain overlay district, and the other potentially, and I don't have the dimensions, is a site plan special permit, because none of that information was ever included, either in the application or with any of the filings. So I think it's a little premature. If the applicant seeks to withdraw its application based upon an understanding that has been provided that they don't need relief, that's quite something else. I'm not sure that's the case at all.
Can I ask Marissa something about that? Did you find that that was extended, the, sorry, what was the floodplain?
The floodplain overlay district.
Was it extended?
Didn't they have a review of that, but then they didn't finish it in a timely manner, and then but they did file for the extension?
Now I think that you're talking about the Conservation Commission.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right,
Yeah.
that was a conservation.
I think there is a separate provision within the zoning bylaw itself, which reflects the flood zone overlay district, and certain findings have to be made, specifically if the building is of historic nature, which it is.
So we don't have any of that before us.
No, and
We only have the variance for the height.
understood, but what I'm suggesting is that the board has deficient information, and the applicant hasn't applied for all the relief that's necessary in order to go forward. It's even alluded to in the KP letter. The other is site plan, and I don't.
But let's talk about that issue first, but isn't that an issue for the building inspector first?
Well,
If he hasn't asked for relief from us.
It would be, except I'm not sure procedurally where we are at this point. It appears that there was an understanding, whether it's correct or incorrect, that the building inspector would be predisposed to grant a new building permit if, in fact, based upon the Historical Commission's recommendation but not vote, because they never voted on it. They were waiting to hear what the Zoning Board of Appeals position was vis-a-vis the application before this board, and then was going to go back and make a determination what they were ultimately seeking. So currently, the Historical Commission has not voted anything in. This was, and I was present, I think Mr. Lehman is here tonight from the Historical Commission, and he can speak to that directly. So if the applicant is based, its decision to potentially withdraw, or the Board of Appeals position is that there's no relief that's currently sought, that's a different dynamic. My position is that we're here before this board tonight on the relief that's being sought, and the relief that's being sought is either a dimensional special permit or a variance. And the relief that's being sought
It sounded like he's looking to withdraw without prejudice.
If that's the
Let
case,
me ask the question.
if that's the case, then really
So are you looking to withdraw without prejudice? Are you looking to continue to apply for a building permit and see if you get one?
Well, thank you. The building inspector actually issued the building permit and took into account all of those things that, with regard to the floodplain, the building's built. The building hasn't been substantially altered. What the building inspector's problem with the construction was the height. And he issued the cease and desist based on his belief that the building was being built higher than it was before the roof trouble occurred. And so he told Mr. Sneerson to stop. The building is too high. He didn't say that it was a floodplain violation. He didn't say that it was an unlawful extension of a non-conforming structure. And so we appealed the cease and desist based on the building inspector's conclusion that the height of the building.
We concluded it was untimely for us to give relief in the February meeting in terms of the appeal of the cease and desist.
Right,
but could I ask, so just hold that thought for one second. I mean, that's the way I read the your letter. It was cease and desist because it was 20 feet, and it appeared that it was 15 feet at the time. Right?
That is correct. Moving forward to give another permit.
Was it another one, or what happened to the first permit, the original permit?
There was some discrepancies in the application. Is it historic? The answer was no. Not unknown, but it was no. Is it in a floodplain? No, and it's in a VE zone. So I have to go back and look at the applications because they weren't filled out properly. So I would say it's going to need, one of the things on the application was to create living space in the garage, and that's not allowed in the VE zone. So really doesn't have anything to do with the structure. The height is what I believe we're here for, but to continue, especially with the living space, he is going to have to reapply for a building permit. With the proper application.
So it's your opinion that he needs to apply either for an amended or a new building permit?
Correct, with the application filled out properly.
Right, okay.
So I can send them to the proper boards if needed.
And if, I guess the narrow question I have, if the building height contained in the application shows that it's 17 feet, you're not going to deny the building permit based on that basis?
No, if it was never determined that it was 17 feet initially or in plans. But if historic and everybody, I do believe it was higher than 15 feet. So if everybody agrees on that 17 feet, then, I'm okay with that.
Well, I think you're the important person for
Well,
who that needs to agree.
typically, before you tear down a building,
He can rely on whatever he chooses to rely on.
yeah, typically, the safest way to do it, before you tear something down, is to have me come out and document it.
Yep.
So we're really going off
The
bricks and
2012.
siding and getting as close as we can, and I believe we are at 17 feet was pretty close to where it was.
Okay.
And then we have this existing plan from a previous owner that clearly shows 17 feet.
Yeah.
That has a key and everything, you can just
Yep.
measure it. Did you have a question?
No, I was still speaking with,
sorry.
go ahead, Mr. Lehman,
Yeah.
I'll defer to Mr. Lehman. Here,
Can I please?
John, here, you can have your own mic.
This guy never saw the microphone, he didn't love.
Thank you. This is-
Historical guy.
Jonathan Lehman from the, I'm Vice Chair of the Historical Commission. The letter that was sent to you, and I don't, do you need me to read it into the record, or does it suffice?
No, we have it.
Okay, great. The last part of that letter alludes to a second thing. The one issue was the height that the building inspector just talked about, but the other issue is that there was no, the application for the building permit said that there would be no demolition, and in fact, the entire building was demolished, except for one wall, the left side brick wall. So because it's an historic building, it's the John McDonough House, it would have required them to come back to the Historical Commission prior to applying for the building permit, or as part of that process. And that hasn't happened. So the last part of the letter mentions that we're going to be taking that up at a future meeting, and I wanted to be sure that folks are aware of that.
Thank you.
It still doesn't affect us if he withdraws, that's it.
Yeah, so that, I guess that's the bottom line here. Where the only thing that's before, what's that?
He's out now, and let him get his permit.
Yeah, so the only thing that's before us right now is the height. You've agreed to go back to the original height. So are you asking to withdraw without prejudice this?
If it covers everything. I just want to finish the house or the garage or whatever you want to call it and get on with my life. And this thing's been going on for a long time. When I did fill out those applications, I didn't put down no, I put down unsure. I really did.
I will review them, I don't have them with me. I will review everything and look it over.
Okay,
And
so I think
I was back and forth with the historical, and I assumed, I misunderstood when they agreed that all they wanted was a plaque there. And I said, fine, whatever you want. And we pulled a permit to put a new roof on the building, because the existing roof was collapsing. It was being held, the walls were being held up by a steel rope, or I'm not sure what it's called, but by a steel rope going both ways. And that was, we did that to hold the, and we went to replace the roof collapsing. We wanted to save the brick wall because there's a court case in the 1970s, I might be repeating myself, saying that that building is zoned residential, signed by this town of Swampscott, signed by the fellow Bithels.
Yeah, I don't know if that, any of that has anything to do with us tonight. If you're withdrawing your application,
Yep.
Well, no, I'm
So I guess
just,
the thing is,
you
we
know, I mean,
can't authorize
if you let Mr.
anything.
Schultz go on and on and on, which he always does, then I would like to say a few words. I'm only asking for 5 minutes.
So no, but I guess we understand everything you're
So
saying.
now we can come to some sort of agreement. We'll take down the roofs. It's costly to take it down, and I
Yep.
put in the permits exactly what it
but I
was.
think
I just
that's
want
for
to make it
another
clear what our
board.
authority is.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Our authority is to vote on the petition that is before us, which is about the height of the garage. And if you say that you no longer want to increase the height of the garage and you're no longer asking for that variance, then you can withdraw that request. But that, we do not have any authority to then say, and we guarantee you're gonna get a building permit and everything's gonna move smoothly from here on out. That's not under our jurisdiction to do. So what we can do is we can say you can withdraw this petition because you don't need a variance for the height anymore, which we would not have authorized most likely anyway. If you'd like to withdraw that petition, that is fine, but we can't, we don't have jurisdiction to authorize anything more than that, than what is in front of us, which is the height.
I guess I understand that, but this particular permit for that was approved twice, once by Steve.
Right, but
once
it's
before.
all,
I
that's
get it.
outside of our, so if you keep talking about this stuff, then Ken's gonna keep talking about this, and we're gonna go on for something that we have no jurisdiction. So I think we ought to just ask you if you make
We
your
don't know if you
request to.
floodplain, we don't know if you have the
It's for other boards.
If you have to go back to historic, like, that's not for us to decide at all. We're only deciding is, are we gonna authorize a variance for this height? And the fact is you don't need that authorization because you're going back to the original height.
If he's withdrawing his request for relief, he's not gonna get it, Ken. I don't think you need to say anything else, so we're gonna keep going back and forth.
Just 'cause I look like I want to speak.
You look like you want to.
You always look like you want to speak.
That's right. Even if you don't, you look like you want to.
Since I'm the one who put the question before the board, there's nothing for me to add if the applicant withdraws. If he doesn't, then I have a lot to say.
All right, we're gonna give you that chance if he doesn't withdraw. We'll see if he withdraws.
Well, what's he doing? What, if he doesn't withdraw, what's he doing?
He's gotta ask us for relief. We don't know what the
for
relief
a
is.
variance?
Okay,
Which doesn't,
then we respectfully ask leave to withdraw without prejudice. We will return to the building inspector with a new application and plans. And I suspect we might be coming back here again, from what I'm hearing, but it will not be on a height request. So,
Okay, great. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the withdrawal
I will
of,
first close the public
oh,
hearing. on
first
this
I'm
one.
gonna close the public hearing. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second that.
All in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Great. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the withdrawal of petition 2225 for 53 Puritan Road.
Without prejudice.
Without prejudice.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
All right,
thank you very much.
thank you.
All right. Been an hour, you know that.
good job.
Just need an official motion to adjourn.
Oh, sorry, and I'm going to move to adjourn.
Second that?
All in favor?
Awesome.
Good job.